back to the Rugby League History channel. Today on the channel I'll be doing my tips for round 25 of the 2024 NRL season. Last week I got 6 out of 8 correct again, so I think this is probably the 5th or 6th time in a row that I got 6 out of 8. So Mr. Consistency at the moment. Some huge games coming up in round 25. So let's start off with the first one, which is happening on Thursday night. And that first match is between West Tigers and Manly-Warringah. This one's being played at Leichhardt Oval. West Tigers bottom of the table at the moment and Manly-Warringah in 6th place. Now, last week, West Tigers, I'm going to be perfectly honest, I might sound a bit bitter or salty as some people say, but I think West Tigers were lucky to win that game. I was watching the highlights and South Sydney bombed 2 tries, and then also they scored right on full line pretty much, and then the referee said it were a forward pass. Now I've seen some of them let go in the past, but anyways, West Tigers got the win. As for Manly-Warringah, they also had a good win, and I think if they can beat West Tigers on Thursday, they cement their place in the finals for 2024. In recent times, Manly haven't had a great record at Leichhardt Oval, but I think when you just look at the likes of who Manly have got, Trbojevic, Saab, Garrick, you've got some really good players in that back line that can score a lot of points, and when Manly were on, they're on. I think it'll be a high scoring game, but I'm going to go for Manly to win by 1 or 12 points. This match on the Friday is between New Zealand and Canterbury Bankstown. This one's being played at Mount Smart Stadium in Auckland. New Zealand in 14th at the moment and Canterbury in 5th. Now, Canterbury's record when they've gone New Zealand's actually quite good, especially at Mount Smart Stadium. They've played 20 matches there. They've won 8, they've lost 11 and had 1 draw. So I mean that's pretty good, because going to Auckland's a tough place to go. Canterbury's won 4 matches in a row in the league going into this game. New Zealand's season's pretty much over. They can't make the finals this year. Canterbury are in the finals, I believe. I think they've already cemented their place. So looking at the two teams and how they've been playing this year and how they've been going, I'm going to go for Canterbury to win by 1 to 12 on Friday. The main match on the Friday is between Brisbane and Parramatta. This one's being played at the Suncorp, because if Suncorp Stadium was in England, they'd probably say it the Suncorp, but Suncorp Stadium. Brisbane in 10th at the moment and Parramatta second last and 16th in the league. Parramatta's record at Suncorp Stadium is actually quite good. They've played 27 matches there, 12 wins, 14 losses and 1 draw. Brisbane's coming into this match off the bye, I believe, and Parramatta, well, I knew that they were always going to lose against Eastern Suburbs. You only have to look at who East have in their backline: Tedesco, Suoliti, Manu, Young, and then you look at the Parramatta backline. They got bloody Targo, he was playing Ron Massey Cup at the start of the year, and you got Sean Russell and people like that, so it was always a mismatch. Brisbane have no Reece Walsh and no Payne-Haas, but yeah, I just think, especially in recent times, Brisbane's had a bit of wood over Parramatta. Now, according to some people, this is also a rivalry game. I did a video about this about a year ago. There was a couple of Fox League commentators that said Brisbane and Parramatta is a rivalry, which it's not. But anyway, for this game, I'm going to go for Brisbane to win 13 plus. I think, yeah, I don't really hold out too much hope for Parramatta in this match on Super Saturday is between Canberra and Penrith. This one's being played at Bruce Stadium. Canberra in 12th at the moment and Penrith second in the league. Canberra's lost their last 3 matches in a row in the league. With Penrith, they're coming in this with no Nathan Cleary, as everyone on planet Earth already knows. Penrith have won their last 5 matches against Canberra, also in the league. Now, this is also another rivalry game. I did a video about this one as well. But I think it's more of a fact that Canberra hate Penrith more than Penrith hate Canberra. But they've had a few matches where it's kind of spilled over in the past. But yeah, so another one of them where, is it a rivalry, is it not? It's up to you to decide. But long story short, I think Penrith will win this game. I think after how Canberra played last week, Ricky Stewart would have torn him a new one at training, let's just say that. But I'll go for Penrith to win by 1 to 12 points on Super Saturday. The second match on Super Saturday is between Melbourne and Redcliffe. This one's being played at Amy Park in Melbourne. with Melbourne, they're top of the league and they'll probably win the minor premiership now, unfortunately. So Melbourne's played Redcliffe twice and they've won both of those. And at the moment, with Redcliffe being sat in 9th place, you know, it looked like they were going to be playing finals this year, but it seems like what happened last year where they've kind of slipped out of contention and they might miss the finals. And this is a really tough ask for Redcliffe to go down to Melbourne and play there, where a lot of teams don't win there, let's just be honest. For this match, I'm going to go for Melbourne to win by 1 to 12 points. It's hard to tip against Melbourne when they play at home, so I'm going to go for Melbourne to win by 1 to 12. And the third match on Super Saturday is between South Sydney and Newcastle. This one's being played at Stadium Australia. South Sydney in 15th and Newcastle 11th in the league. Now, with Newcastle, their record at Stadium Australia is pretty good. They've played 30 matches there. They've won 14, they've had 15 losses and they've had 1 draw. And a little bit of trivia, Newcastle played the first ever match at Stadium Australia in '99. There was a double header. You had Parramatta and St George and you had Newcastle and Manly. Newcastle played in the first match against Manly at Stadium Australia when it opened in '99. So there's a bit of trivia there, and they won, I think, by 40 points. South Sydney had an embarrassing loss last week against West Tigers, and Newcastle had a golden point loss against Cronulla. For this match, this is actually probably one of the harder games to tip this week, but I'll go for Newcastle to win. I'll go for Newcastle to win by 1 to 12 points. I think Newcastle are still in with a chance of making the finals, as opposed to South Sydney, where their season's over. So I'm going to go for Newcastle to win by 1 to 12 points. The first match on Sunday is Gold Coast against Sydney Roosters. This one's being played at Suburbs Super Stadium on the Gold Coast. Gold Coast in 13th and East in 3rd place. Now, with Sydney Roosters, their record at Suburbs Super Stadium, it's like a home away from home for them. They've played 9 matches there, they've won 6, they've had 2 losses and a draw, so they certainly don't figure going up to the glitter strip. I think Gold Coast season's pretty much over. With Eastern Suburbs, they had a routine win over Parramatta last week. I expect things to be the same this week against the Gold Coast, so I'm going to go for Sydney Roosters to win by 1 to 12 points on the Sunday. And the final game to close out the round, and I think probably one of the games of the round, is St George against Cronulla-Sutherland. This one's being played at Wynn Stadium in Wollongong. Cronulla in 4th and St George in 8th place, and this is the derby, so the biggest game on the calendar for both sides. Fierce derby, and this is probably one of the biggest ones in recent memory. Now, with Cronulla, they've won their last 3 matches in a row in the league, and they've won their last 8 matches in a row against St George. In total, if you count St George and St George Illawarra, which I do because I think they're the same team and I don't care what anyone else says. They've played 110 matches against each other. Cronulla's won 56, St George's won 54, and there's been 3 draws, so it's a very close derby overall. It's going to be a really interesting game. I think there's going to be a lot of feeling. Obviously, Cronulla want to finish in the top 4, St George want to play finals after a lot of people said that they were going to be wooden spooners this year. I think besides the South Sydney and Newcastle one, this is the game that's really hard to call which way it's going to go. But I'm going to play a bit of a risk there. I'm going to go for St George to win this game. I'm going to go for St George to win by 1 to 12 points. Normally I probably would tip Cronulla, but I think, look, eventually St George has got to beat Cronulla, don't they? So I'm going to go for St George to win, get the upset, and move 1 step closer to playing finals this year. Well, that concludes my tip video for round 25 of the 2024 NRL season. I hope you enjoyed these tips. If you did, let me know in the comment section below. And thanks to everyone that's recently subscribed to the channel and continues to watch the videos. I recently went to Magic Weekend to do a vlog for St Helens and Wigan. Obviously it weren't very magical as a Saints fan, but besides that, you know, I had a good time there. So if you haven't watched that vlog, go check it out. But anyways, this has been Rugby League History, and I'll catch us all later in the next one. Alright, ta-ra for now.